Hey everybody, it's Scott Leckie from Democracy Tomorrow. How much does human life mean to you? That's the question for today's quick episode. A week or two ago, the highly reputable, extremely respected medical journal, The Lancet, came out with a study that indicated that there could be as many as 14 million deaths of fellow human beings because of the cuts to the United States Agency for International Development. 14 million people that would otherwise not die had existing programs been allowed to remain in place. In survey after survey, Americans are asked how much percent of the national budget is sent by the United States overseas for international development assistance. And the numbers that most people cite are just way, way, way off the mark. The actual percentage until now was 0.22% of the US GDP. Here's a chart. You can see it. The little red arrow there is pointing to the United States. They're on the low end on a per capita basis of international development assistance in 2024. This is before the draconian cuts by the Trump administration in the past few months, led by Doge and Elon Musk and fully supported by members of the Trump cabinet and the Trump regime. 14 million people will die as a result of these cuts. How can this be? Our view, and hopefully yours, and hopefully the vast majority of people on the planet, would believe that this is not acceptable. Would believe that human life in whatever corner of the world it exists is precious, irreplaceable, invaluable, part and parcel of the race to which we all belong, the human race. I'm just broadcasting this today to get you to sit back and just think about that for a second. 14 million people, 2 Switzerland's worth of people, just about. Population of gigantic megacities, gone unnecessarily, just to make some symbolic cuts in a national budget. If you add to this the work by the people at impactcounter.com, and a website I'd encourage all of you to look at, which measures the daily deaths and divided into adult deaths and child deaths that are occurring because of cuts to U.S. development assistance, the numbers are also staggering. So the last time I looked at it, deaths per hour were measured at 103 deaths. Trump administration says there's been no deaths. Of course they say that. What a surprise. But there are deaths of real people. Totally preventable. Remember, U.S. development assistance has always been, as a proportion of GDP, extremely low. It's not extremely high, in contrast to what people think. And that a huge proportion of the funds which are allocated under so-called international development programs are actually spent in the United States, not spent in Chad or Botswana or Burkina Faso or other places where such funds are truly needed, but spent on U.S. companies producing U.S.-based products, which are then sold and then eventually distributed to places where they are needed. USAID, like all development agencies, was highly imperfect. Of course, there may have been some political motivations behind it, which would have been largely supported by the very same people that destroyed its existence. But nonetheless, it was doing good. It was trying to do good. It was trying to and was successfully saving lives. In fact, A recent study indicated that since the year 2000, over 90 million lives were saved by the work of USAID, funded by both Republican and Democratic governments in the United States. The United States just yesterday again pulled out of the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The United States has pulled out of the World Health Organization. The United States has pulled out of the United Nations Human Rights Council. The United States has pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and the list goes on and on and on. Think of the consequences of those things. Think of the real-life consequences. We all know their unequivocal support for the state of Israel, which is now causing famine, reported on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour, minute-by-minute basis in Gaza. State-induced famine in this year, 2025. Can't we expect a better world than this? Can't we imagine a world in which such things don't occur? It's our hope that you can imagine that. It's our hope that you can consider the idea of global democracy, the idea that all of us are inhabitants of the same planet, that all of us can work together to build a better, more fair, more equitable, more democratic world. We hope you'll join us. Best wishes to everybody. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Thanks a lot. Bye.